Here I am again, Menopause Barbie, bringing you menopause, your management, your way, now and for the rest of your life. If you're just joining us, you should know that we're smack dab in the middle of discussing categories of options for menopause. And today we're going to discuss bioidentical hormones. So if you're following along in my book, we're on pages 102 to 105. And if you're following along in the outline notes, we're on page 24. Alrighty, quiz question time. Here's your question. Bioidentical hormones. A, always produce fewer side effects. B, can be obtained only from a compounding pharmacy. C, are always custom made. D, are always made from plants. E, can never be synthetic. F, are not FDA tested and approved. G, all of the above. H, none of the above. I, A, B, and C above. What'd you pick? It's H, none of the above. Do you think I'm crazy? Well, maybe you don't know everything you need to know about bioidentical hormones then. So let me explain. Most people with general knowledge have a lot of misconceptions about bioidentical hormones. So today I'm going to make sure you know the facts. In the last tutorial, I introduced you to bioidentical hormones. So let me refresh your memory about them. And first I'm going to give you the definition. So bioidentical hormones are hormones synthesized from substances that are identical to the molecules in the human body. Now the molecules in the human body are your building blocks. It's what your body's made of. But now we're going to dig a little deeper into the topic of bioidentical hormones. So it might surprise you to learn that bioidentical hormones are both natural and synthetic. They're natural in the sense that they're identical to molecules in the human body, but they're synthetic in the sense that they're created from other substances. And bioidentical hormones may originate from plants, which may make them seem even more natural to you, but the natural plant substances from which they originate are modified so that they're no longer in their natural forms. And bioidentical hormones may produce fewer side effects because the body recognizes them as less foreign and metabolizes them more easily, but not always. So molecules that are identical to human molecules fit with human molecules better than those that aren't. You see, I love making models for you and doing things that really help you. So what I have here today are puzzle pieces. But you see, I have one of these puzzles that's for little kids, like 3 years old. It's the alphabet. But I have turned them into props for you so that you can see what I'm talking about. So these puzzle pieces represent hormones and molecules. So this one is a human molecule. And this one is a bioidentical hormone. So see how well they fit together? So this bioidentical hormone fits into the human molecule perfectly, just perfectly. And here we have the same human molecule, and we have a non-bioidentical hormone. And see how it fits? You see, it can take up the spot, it can fill the spot, sort of, but there's all this dead space in here, and it's not nearly as good a fit as the bioidentical hormone was. So that's what has to go through your mind when we are thinking about how a bioidentical hormone might differ from one that's not bioidentical. Another way to think of bioidentical hormones is that they're mirror images of the molecules that they bind to. It's like they're just absolute mirror images. So maybe you're wondering why the fit of a hormone even matters. Well, here's why. All hormones exert their effects by binding with a receptor. Binding with a receptor is exactly what this would be. If we said this hormone binds to this receptor, this little area where they fit together would be the receptor. So all hormones exert their effects by binding with a receptor. And until a hormone binds with its receptor, it's completely useless. It just floats around doing absolutely nothing. And binding with that receptor activates the hormone so that it can do its job. So the better the fit, the better the job the hormone can do, and with fewer side effects, theoretically. And bioidentical hormones have this perfect fit with the receptors. And that perfect fit enables the bioidentical hormone to work more effectively than non-bioidentical hormones. Theoretically. You notice I keep saying theoretically? Because in a perfect world, maybe bioidentical hormones would work better for everyone. But our world is not perfect. So, just because a bioidentical hormone fits perfectly with its receptor doesn't mean it will fit perfectly with your wants and needs. You have to just try different options to discover what works best for you. So now let's talk about where bioidentical hormones come from. Bioidentical hormones are created or synthesized by combining substances together. And in pharmacology, we have a term called compounding. Compounding is the process of combining substances together. Some people refer to bioidentical hormones as natural compounded hormones. And that's because they're synthesized from chemical substances that are natural components of plants. So they call them natural. And the plants are taken to the lab and converted to a form that is identical to human molecules. The pharmacies that produce bioidentical hormones are called compounding pharmacies. So that's what you use to get bioidentical hormones. So here's how it works. You go to your doctor or your doctor of osteopathic medicine, your MD or your DO, and they determine how much of each type of hormone you need based on your blood hormone levels. So let's say you need 10% of hormone A, 10% of hormone B, and 80% of hormone C. So your doctor writes the prescription for a hormone product that contains 10% of hormone A, 10% of hormone B, and 80% of hormone C. And you take your prescription to the compounding pharmacy, or your doctor sends it or calls it into the pharmacy, and the pharmacist creates a product for you with 10% of hormone A, 10% of hormone B, and 80% of hormone C. But all pharmacies are not compounding pharmacies. So you have to understand that it takes a special kind of pharmacy to get your bioidentical product that is made in this fashion that dictates exactly how much of each hormone your doctor wants you to have. Okay? Now, your bioidentical medication that you get from the pharmacy can come in all sorts of forms and in all sorts of dispensers. The folks at Cedra Pharmacy in Houston, Texas have given me a care package with all sorts of things to show you. So I've got a bunch of little goodies for you here. Let's say you want a cream and you want to rub the cream into your skin. So usually the bioidentical hormones come in a cream that is put into a syringe. And this is a large syringe, but they can put it in a tiny syringe too. Just depends on how much of this cream you need or what dispenser size you want. And then they also have this nifty little dispenser that looks kind of like a deodorant dispenser. And what you do with this is you take off the top, you see there's 3 little holes in there, and you turn the bottom of this one turn, it clicks into place, and there you have the product, 3 little dots of it, and you just take it off, rub it on your skin, there's your hormone. And there's one here, same thing, same kind of dispenser, but notice there's only 1 hole, so this dose is going to be smaller. You turn the bottom, 1 click, and look, 1 little hole's worth of cream, and you put that on your skin. I'm going to be full of estrogen by the end of this. Estrogen, whatever I'm putting on my skin here. Have all kinds of hormones on me, aren't I? Okay, so here's one with a pump dispenser. So it comes like this, but when you take this off, look, there's a pump dispenser. So if you push it 1 time, there's your dose of hormone cream. So that's what you have here, and you put that on your skin. So now let's say you prefer a gel. Well, if you want a gel, they've got that too. So this is a little packet of gel squares. Look at these little gel squares. And it comes with this spatula. And all you do is scoop out your gelatin from these little squares, apply it to your skin, and you get your hormone dose. Kind of neat, huh? All these different options. Of course, you can get tablets. This is a bottle of Triest, which is 3 estrogens, maybe the 10%, 10%, 80%, or a bottle of Biest, which is 2 estrogens. So maybe it's 20% of one and 80% of another. And you know, you can even get suppositories. These are suppositories, and they're in this bottle, and they're kind of messy, so I'm not going to touch them with my hands, but there's suppositories in there, and so you just use them like you would use any suppository. Okay, so you have compounding pharmacies. They make all these products for you. Now, the thing about compounding pharmacies is that they're very specialized and they're much less common than regular pharmacies. And, you know, depending on where you live, you may or may not even have a compounding pharmacy in your vicinity. So the compounding pharmacist is making your formulation and giving you the medication, and that may be something hard to find in, say, more rural areas. Some people refer to compounded hormones as designer hormones or custom compounded hormones. Now, these are terms that people use, but designer or custom compounded hormones aren't always bioidentical. You see, you have to separate the terms bioidentical from the terms designer and custom, because they don't mean the same thing, and they don't always coincide. This is one of those misconceptions people have. So separate bioidentical. Bioidentical does not mean custom, and bioidentical does not mean designer. For instance, most pharmaceutical estrogen products for menopause that aren't taken by mouth just happen to be bioidentical, even though they're pharmaceutical products. Are you shocked by that? Does that just kind of shake the foundation of everything you thought about bioidentical hormones? Did you think pharmaceutical products and bioidentical products were mutually exclusive? See, that's another one of the misconceptions that is widely held by most people. Well, here I have some pharmaceutical estrogen products. Here is a Chimera estrogen patch. Okay, it's a little patch, you stick it on your skin. It's pharmaceutical, but it's bioidentical. Here is a Vivel dot patch, same thing, little patch you stick on your skin. It's pharmaceutical, but it's bioidentical. And here is the newer Minivel patch that's also bioidentical, yet pharmaceutical. And here we have Estrogel. It's a gel that you put on your skin, pharmaceutical product, but bioidentical. Here's another one called Divigel. Same thing, pharmaceutical and bioidentical. Here is a lotion. It's called Estrazorb, and It's a lotion or cream that you put on your skin. It's pharmaceutical and bioidentical. Here we have 2 estrogen vaginal rings. These are rings that you put in your vagina. By the way, we'll be talking about all of these products in extremely great detail later on in one of the tutorials. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to go through every detail about all of these products. This one's called Femring, and this one is called S-String. They're both pharmaceutical products, and they're both bioidentical. Here is Estrace Vaginal Cream, also pharmaceutical and bioidentical. And finally, we have one called Eva Mist. Eva Mist is a mist. It comes in a box like this, and here's what it looks like when you take it out of the box. So it's got this circular top on it, and you pop off this top, and you apply it to your skin, usually your arm, and you push this button in, and it gives you a spray of your hormone product, and you just let it dry. Okay, so all of these products are pharmaceuticals, but they're all bioidentical products. They're commercial prescription products, medications, but they're not designer made for you specifically. They're just made all the same by a pharmaceutical company. So are you saying, how can that be, Menopause Barbie? Well, remember, the definition of bioidentical only requires the molecules to be identical to the molecules in your body, right? Well, one of the estrogen molecules in your body is called estradiol. And all of these products made by pharmaceutical companies consist of estradiol. So what I'm trying to show you is that things are not always black and white. Sometimes there are shades of gray, and the differences are not always absolute. And you know, that's actually a good thing, especially if you want to use bioidentical hormones, but you live in a place where there is no compounding pharmacy. So these pharmaceutical bioidentical products are tested and approved by the FDA just like all other pharmaceutical products. But in contrast, a true custom compounded product that is designer made just for you isn't tested and approved by the FDA. Now, before you start whining about why there always have to be trade-offs, you can have both. It is possible to get a custom compounded medication that is synthesized from bioidentical substances. And it's designer made just for you. And it's made from molecules just like those in the human body. And it's tested and approved by the FDA. So you can have it all. So here we have some cream, biased cream that is all of those things. Here we have a triest cream that is all of those things. Here we have a testosterone cream that is all of those things. And here we have some biased and triest tablets that are all of those things. So you can have it all. You see, one of my goals with these tutorials is to teach you that these distinctions about which most people are unaware I want you to know the facts. I mean, there are so many different ways for you to get exactly what you want, and I'm here to help you do that. So if you like the idea of bioidentical hormones, you need to pay attention to 3 things. You're going to ask 3 questions. Question 1, is it a bioidentical commercial pharmaceutical product? Made by a pharmacy and they're all the same. Number 2, is it a non-bioidentical but custom compounded product? And question number 3, is it a bioidentical custom compounded product? So I made a chart summarizing the differences between the 3 for you. You won't find this chart in the book or in the notes, but you can get it by going to the descriptive portion of the YouTube or to my website, which is menopausebarbie.me. Menopause Barbie, that's me. So you can get the chart if you want it, but it's not in the book or the outline at this point in time. Okay, so here's the chart. What you see on this chart is 3 columns. Column 1 is the commercial pharmaceutical bioidentical hormones. Column 2 is custom compounded non-bioidentical hormones. And column 3 is bioidentical custom compounded hormones. Now, if you look at the row on the far left side of the chart, you're going to see a list of factors. Factor 1, is it identical to human molecules, or in other words, bioidentical? Number 2, is it a perfect fit? Number 3, is it FDA tested and approved? Number 4, is it designed just for you? Number 5, are there fewer side effects? Number 6, is it natural? Number 7, is it synthetic? Number 8, is it from plants? What you need to do is notice how many similarities there are between these 3 columns, and notice how many differences there are between these 3 columns. Which differences matter to you? Because that is all that matters. All that matters with any of this is what matters to you. My goal is for you to know these differences and nuances of the things that will affect your ability to manage your menopause your way. So don't let this stuff confuse you. Just know that there are differences. You don't have to remember all this. You know, I'm sure that certain things piqued your interest or got your attention as I spoke about them. And that's probably because those were the things that are most important to you. So know what's important to you and verbalize that. You don't even have to use the formal terms. You don't ever have to say bioidentical if you don't want to. Just list everything you want or everything you don't want. Hand it to your provider and let the provider do his or her best to meet your goals. So, speaking of trade-offs, have you ever seen a television show called House Hunters International? Well, it's this show where they take people who are moving internationally and they show them 3 different homes. And every show is always about trade-offs because, you know, the people will see one that's right in the center of town and they can walk to everything and it's really conveniently located, but it's smaller and it's more expensive and it's noisier, but they don't need a car. And then they'll show them one that's out in the country or farther away from town. It's bigger, they have all this space, it's quiet, but it's not close to anything and they have to have a car to drive into town to do anything. Oh, I bring it up because my husband and I, that is our life every single year. You know, we move to a different country every single year and we stay for a year in each. And we do the House Hunters International home finding thing every single year. We see about a dozen places instead of 3, and we have a big spreadsheet with all our factors that matter to us. But it's the same idea. It's about trade-offs. And you just have to know that trade-offs don't have to be a terrible thing. They can be actually a good thing. So that's where I'll leave you with it today. That's it. You're done for today. I should say class is dismissed. I should have been school teacher Barbie. Okay, I'll say goodbye to you now.